We'll start with Mangalacharya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमस्तेन स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीवरदं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सदा तं सजीवम् Sadhuidam Savantam Saitam Krishna Saitam Gopinam Sri Ram Krishna Pandam Sastam Sri Saskapitam Namo Krishna Bhaktam Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Deswami Namaste Saraswati Devi Namaste Pracharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Namo Mahapurunyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Bhakti Naman He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Janmate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Skandhave Vrindavaneshwari Krishnavanusate Devi Pranamami Hare Kripa Sindhu Picha Patikanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Sadi Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare So, thank you so much, Shiv Shankar Prabhuji and Mataji, for inviting us to your home for Bhagavad Gita classes. Okay, so last time we discussed 19 and 20, right? Bhagavad Gita 19 and 20. Correct. So we started with a story. Anyone remembers that story? That there is a murderer, right? He goes to court and the judge asked, why did you do the murder? But before the judge asked, so he said, like, मैं जो भी कहूँगा सच कहूँगा, मैं गीता पे हाथ रख के कसम खाता हूँ, मैं जो भी कहूँगा सच कहूँगा, सच के सिवा कुछ नहीं कहूँगा. Then the judge asked, why did you murder? So he said, I did not murder because yam ena veti hantaram yaschena manyate yatam ubhoto vijinato nayam hanti nandite. Means neither one who thinks living entity is slayer or one who thinks it is slain. Means someone who thinks that living entity is killed or someone who thinks that he has killed, right? Or someone has killed it. Both are not in knowledge, right? Because the soul cannot be killed or cannot be the killer. So he said, because Bhagavad Gita says that जिस पे हाथ रख के कसम खाए, so I'm not the killer, right? This is God. God says that. And then we saw the similar verse comes in Katha Upanishad also, and it says that the killer thinks if he kills and the killed man thinks he is killed, neither of them are all right. The self kills not, nor it is killed. Same thing, right? The soul cannot be the killer or cannot be killed. So we discussed that this verse is meant only for the self-realized people, right? The people who are self-realized, and who are the people who are self-realized? Who who are called self-realized people? That's correct. Who we are, that is important. First, we need to know who we are, right? And we are the body. So, right. So, self-realized people are those who knows about the soul. They are called self-realized people. That they understand I'm not this body, I'm the soul. Or other person, anyone, any jeev is not the body but the soul. Then we discussed the soul, why a soul cannot be killed. What is the reason? This is how we write the long answer. Next time I'm saying it is only 2 mark question, not 10 marks. All right. Okay, so why is so canonical? That's correct. Because it's so small that no material weapon can actually kill it. It's like if you're going to kill an ant with a rifle or a sniper bullet, doesn't make any sense. Right. So soul is that small, it's even smaller than the atoms. Right. That it cannot be killed by any material weapon. It won't be of any use. Then, more importantly, because it's eternal, part and parcel of the Lord. Right. So that is the reason soul cannot be killed, and that's how Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna that you are worried about your guru and your all relatives, your guru, Bhismitama and all other relatives, but they are not going to get killed anyway. So don't worry, just go and fight. Right. Then we discussed um, that when he says that, when the murderer says that, that means, does that mean this particular verse encourages violence? Right. That if the soul is immortal, then what's the problem in killing anyone? What is the problem? We discussed about authority, that without authority, well, who has given us authority to kill anyone? Right. So we discussed a couple of examples in that Sneha chicken, right? It's not an authority. Authority, who is authority? God is authority, but God is not coming to tell us things like this. Shastra authority, or someone who has, or guru, someone who has the complete knowledge, they are the authority. And certainly the owner of this shop is not in complete knowledge. So it's not their authority. So what is the problem with killing someone? One thing is like we are not authorized. What else? Say someone authorized us. So I think that my manager is the authority and I'm killing. Is that correct? Okay, government says that you kill and I can kill. Government says eat more chicken. We need protein. We need more people with more protein content. So that's why we'll discuss actually the similar point today also. Right. So hmm? Law of the land. That's what I'm saying. If government makes a law tomorrow that you can kill as many chicken as possible. So you remember one story I told that once like in 19 in Indira Gandhi's regime, there is a lot of cobras in some area. There are a lot of rats, sorry. Right, so there are, no, not rat, cobras only. Right, in some areas, it's called cobra effect. So, because a lot of people were getting killed by bite of cobras, so the government asked people, okay, whoever bring me the cobra, they will get some 5 rupees or something, whatever, some amount. Right. And in starting, people taking like catching cobras and giving. Then they realized, hey, jitne cobra utna paisa. Right. Then they started rearing the cobras. Now there are one, two cobras in the area. Now there are 100 cobras because now they are like, cobra को खिलाओ बच्चे पैदा करेगा. Will give cobra, will get more money. Right. So government started realizing that now there are more cobras and we don't have money to keep on giving. This is now business model. So they said, okay, stop. We are not going to give anything. But by then, there are thousands of more cobras. Previously, it was just 10, 20, now it's thousands. And what they will do now, they are not going to get money. So they released every cobra in the jungle. So previously, there were like 20 cobras in the area or in the jungle. Now there are 2,000 cobras because of this. So it may not be like government is always correct. Government is government, who sits on the top, they decide. So what? What is the problem in killing a soul? We discussed some things last time. What something? Body. So okay, so मतलब something is killing body at least, right? We are not authorized to kill body. What else? What is the spiritual reasoning for that? Think in that point of view. Karma, right? We'll get stuck in the cycle of karma. We kill them, they kill us. We kill them, they kill us. And this cycle goes on. जैसे कभी हमने देखा एक फोटो, a rat is just moving in, there is a rounded thing, right? I know, rounded wheel, right? It keeps on moving, and that is the cycle of karma for us. right? But there is another bigger problem also, same in related to karma, that our Shastra says that every jiva has a life, given life. And if we are killing that jiva at some particular point of time, that means we are stopping their karma also. What they have to suffer, we are stopping that also. Anyway, they have to pay for their karma, but we are stopping somewhere in the middle, right? So we also have to suffer the karmic reaction of that. It is not just the karma of killing them, but also the karmic reaction which they will, we have not allowed them to enjoy in the body or to fulfill in this particular body, whatever they have got. So we also have to suffer with that karma. Right. So we took example of soldier also in authority. They are authorized to kill the enemies, right? But the same soldier when they come into their village and बगल वाले से लड़ाई हो गई and he kills someone. Is that correct? No, right. He is now violating the law of the land. Right. The same government which allows him to kill enemies, even if it is internal, in case of any क्या कहते हैं riots and all, right? Um, the same soldier is not allowed to kill people um, who are like whom he is not authorized to kill. Right. So that is something which is we need to do. So this is the cycle of karma what we discussed last time. Then Srila Prabhupada says in this particular verse that a Vedic injunction is ma himsyat sarvabhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. This is what our Veda says. But if it is authorized by any authority, then that becomes the dharma. And here in this case, Krishna is asking Arjuna to do this, to kill these people. And any law, there is nothing bigger law than law of God. Right? That is the biggest law. Right. So we discussed what is the higher authority. What is the higher authority? I will to discuss it. Someone who is in complete knowledge of things, they are called higher authority. Right? Not anyone. Like we discussed the example of Sachin Tendulkar can be considered higher authority for cricket. Right? Lata Mangeshkar you can consider for Sangeet. Right. Same way, there is higher authority like our Guru, the Acharya from Parampara. They are higher authority for the Shastras. Right. So that is higher authority. Then some things we discussed, like how other religions also say that killing animals is not correct thing. Even though the majority, high majority of those religion, people from those religion eat animals, but even their religion at the highest topmost stage says that it's not correct. Right? So that's the only way how we can actually achieve spiritual progress. There is no other way. Then in 2.20 we discussed that the soul does not come into being, it has not come at it. वहाँ पे banded है. Mataji, there are a lot of vegetable also which can give you heat. Spices, for an example. Right. If you remember, like maybe one, like the people who have kids, they say that sir, खांसी है, सर्दी है, कफ है, जायफल लेके घिस दो. You need not to always have non-veg to eat. This is just an excuse. The yogis who go on the Himalayas to do the tapasya, do they eat non-veg? What can be extremer than Himalayas? Think there cannot be. There also fruits come. They eat fruit and all those things. It is just an excuse. They can. And what is the point of living at such place जहाँ हम रह नहीं सकते? Think of that. Why should I go to Antarctica to live where I don't get any food and I have to eat non-veg? Better I come to India and eat veg. मतलब, it is something people have to decide. And according to our karma, also we get the birth in places. Like Lord Chaitanya, मतलब Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he used to say that कि भारतवर्ष पे जन्म हुआ है तो मतलब वी आर लकी टू हैव गॉट बर्थ इन भारतवर्ष एंड जन्म सार्थक करने के लिए परफेक्ट प्लेस है. So we are here in Bharatvarsh, we are in the class, that is all our karma. Maybe those people did not have that karma that they are in Siberia or those places. But even Russia, one of the biggest population of ISKCON followers is Russia. Right? That is a cold country, highly cold. But they survive, right? Why can't others? It is all just excuse. But yeah, or maybe they have not come into contact. They have not yet gotten the knowledge. All on the time. Right. So, any other question? Right. So the soul has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. Right? Because he is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. This is what we discussed. That soul is always eternal. So sometimes a question comes when the soul got separated from Lord, no one knows. Right? It is so time immemorial that no Shastras even mention that. So it is like from time immemorial, immortal times, it is always like that. So, yeah. So Kutas Tatha, that uh, does not change. The soul does not grow, also it does not reduce in size also. That is one of the point which refutes the Mayavadi philosophy that soul can, like, a spirit can be divided. It cannot be divided. Right? That's how we are not divided from God. It was always there. Then we discussed like how soul and the spirit, soul and the matter is exactly a different thing. The body takes birth, grows. We have to maintain the body. There are production of byproduct that will be getting children, dwindling. We get aged and then ultimately we die. But soul, it is not born. It does not grow. You don't need anything to maintain the soul. Even if you don't feed, like we say, nourish the soul by spiritual thing. Correct. But it's just nourishing in the right direction or giving him right direction. Even someone who does not take God's name, they are atheist, their soul is also eternal. So you don't need anything to maintain the soul because it's eternal. There is no byproduct because soul cannot get divided. And it does not get changed or it does not get brittle and there is no death for soul. So soul and matter is exactly opposite. That's what we discussed here. The same verse comes in Katha Upanishad also. And yeah. So this point again we'll discuss today, so we'll not go. We heard the story of crazy Peter, right? That soul always listens even if it is sleeping, or our soul is always awake. So by this story we understood that, and this was one thing which is for everyone. Like if we have the knowledge of the soul, what do you think should be we can change in our life, right? So that's a personal question. Everyone can decide and have accordingly. Okay, so we'll start with 2.21 now. Veda vinasinam nityam ya enam ajam avyayam katham sa purusham partha kam ghatayati hantikam Veda vinasinam nityam ya enam ajam avyayam katham sa purusham partha घातयति हन्तिकम् Anyone from Prabhu? Veda Nityam Yadinam Adam Abhyayam Kadam Sa Purusha Padam Gandhatayati Tikam. Anyone from Mataji? Veda Nityam Ved Ajam Abhyayam Kadam Sa Purusha Padam Gandhatayati Tikam. Translation by Divine Grace. I'm sorry, Srila Prabhupada. O Parth, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill. Right? Again, those properties are described. Is someone who knows that soul is indestructible, eternal, avinashinam, matlab indestructible, and nityam, eternal, unborn, ajam, right? And avyayam, immutable, right? So someone who knows about this, how can they kill someone or it get killed, right? So coming to this story again. So this person told that I am not the killer because Bhagavad Gita says that a soul cannot be killed. Now the judge heard the argument from the both side, and then he is now pronouncing a judgment, and he gave the um, capital punishment to this person, right? The murderer, the same murderer, right? So now last class we discussed that we are not allowed to kill a soul. We are not authorized because the state of the law of the state also says that, and even God also says that. We just saw that in previous work. Right. So is this judge right in giving this capital punishment to this murderer? Is he not committing violence? What is your view? If the judge give the capital punishment to a murderer, is he correct or not? Or he is committing violence? Correct. Why? And if not, then why?
Some people may take it as a disease or something. They may
Okay, so you set an example. You mean
to set it.
to set an example, if someone else does that, he will get the similar punishment. Okay. What else?
Accept all the inputs and then after that we decide to give this punishment.
Okay, so judge is authorized to give the punishment. So his authority. What else? Anyone?
Also,
Yeah, there's a question.
so guys, so even if he is giving a content punishment, his soul is not committed, so he's not committing a mistake, but the logic which he was in.
Okay. So because soul never dies, so he's also correct. You think that you also die, you are going to die. Right. So let me kill you killed you did not kill a soul. I'm also not killing a soul by giving capital punishment. Right. So let's cut your body like that. So soul never dies. Right. So is he committing violence in that way? No.
He's working better.
He's working for the betterment of society. We'll all come back to all these points again. Right. So what Srila Prabhupada says that? Let's see. So he says that everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Very important point. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Right? It means that in this world, whatever you see in this world, or even the qualities, not just the matter, everything has its purpose in this world. Everything has its utility. Like if you see the kartal also, it has utility. If you see a dust also, it has utility. Everything, all the qualities which we have, it has its utility or a purpose. Right. So, but how to utilize that? A person with knowledge only can tell them. How can we understand that example? With an example, it's like we have a everyone has a knife at home, right? The same knife can be used to kill someone, or the same knife can be used to cut vegetables also. It's not the fault of knife that what it is being used for. Correct. It's a fault of the person what he is using it for. When when Oppenheimer, when he created the atom, he actually created atom bomb. But before that, Rutherford, when he did the atomic, the formula for that, he never thought that the nuclear reaction which I am inventing will be used for this. Actually, Alfred Nobel, when he created the dynamite, right, it was all for good purpose. Okay, for the industrial revolution, we'll cut some places and this and that, and later on, the dynamite was used for as a weapon. Right. He was so much in distress that the Nobel Prize, which we actually see, it is going to announce from tomorrow. Right? The Nobel Prize is only because of his lamentation. Ki the thing which I created for the betterment of the society is now being used for killing of them. So he created of his, all his funding, he created the Nobel Prize. Like whoever is actually going to uh, do better, Nobel Peace Prizes for the betterment of society than in other science areas also. So for the betterment of society, who is going to use, they will get the prize. Right. So everything has its utility. So violence also has its utility. But someone who knows where to use the violence, they should be only authorized to take violence or give the um, give the instruction how to use this violence. So in this case, judge what we are saying. Right, we'll come to that point again, but let's go. So although the justice of the peace, that means judge, awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the code of justice. Like like Prabhuji and other people say, he is authorized. He knows the knowledge. He has the knowledge. That's why he is giving the authority. In Manu Samhita, Manu Smriti, like there's a verse comes. Rajavi krita dandastu kritva papani manava nirmala swarga mayanti santa sukritino yatha. Means the men who, having committed crimes, have been punished by kings, become freed from the guilt and go to heaven. Right. Just like well-behaved good men. Men who have committed crimes and have been punished by kings become freed from the guilt and go to heaven. Just like well-behaved good men. What does it say? It says that it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer the great sin he has committed. We discussed the same point in the point of compassion, right? When we're discussing compassion, the real compassion is to give the result of the karma, and it is a duty of a king to give the result of the karma to his praja, right? If he is not doing that, that means he is also committing a sin. So, if a murderer is actually getting a capital punishment, if he is getting this capital punishment, that means he is getting the result of the karma which he did, that is murder, in this life itself. He does not have to suffer in next life. That's something important to know. If the king is showing compassion, no, no, I don't want, or he is being human rights activist, saying that no, no one should kill anyone, no capital punishment and all, that means this is foolishness and he is actually setting a wrong precedent. He'll also have the karma. So our Shastra says that a king in whose kingdom the sins happen and it's not punished, they get 1/6 of the karma of the person. So a compassionate king is going to suffer for a long, long time, many lives, right? Because he is not doing his duty. That's the next point. Therefore, the king's punishment of having a murderer is actually beneficial, right? The king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Beneficial for? No. We are not talking about society. Exactly for the soul itself, for the jiva itself. Right? Forget about society. That is a side effect of it. Right? But we know how like that works. But the immediate effect is on the soul. He does not have to do it again. Um,
Punishment was and comparatively other than going to murder as a natural death, then the punishment after going to the heavenly planets will be much more worse than here.
He will not go to heaven.
Heavenly planet, but like hell or the
Huh.
but the punishment there is much more harsh compared.
Yes, exactly.
Make someone understand that he is wrong. So this punishment is it enough to make him understand that this is wrong?
See, right. One is he has to wait for the whole time to get that punishment, the harsh punishment, because he has gotten some more life. So he'll get the harsh punishment, or he'll get immediate punishment, even if it is a little softer than the harder one. For the body, that's the hardest. Think that way. Right? If he is dying natural death, a rapist who is dying a natural death by getting, uh, spending his time in the jail, for like next 20, 30 years, whatever his life, he is still enjoying the body, right? Other versus that the rapist, he got the punishment immediately, he got killed. For him, that is the biggest punishment because he is thinking about the body. He is always in the consciousness of the body and he is getting immediate punishment. So why capital punishment is so dreaded? Because capital punishment, when you think on body level, that is the harshest one can get for its body. So it's this versus that. Time is also a big factor. You are giving him time also to enjoy. Now he is enjoying, get more punishment. It's like that. So yeah, हाँ माता यस माता जी क्योंकि ह्यूमन लाइफ पे ही हमारे पास विल पावर है. एक जानवर क्या करता है सुबह उठता है ठीक है उठेगा न तो ब्रश करना है न मुंह धुलना है कुछ नहीं जाएगा अपना खाना खोजेगा ढूंढेगा खाएगा बच्चे पैदा करना है बच्चे पैदा करेगा आके सोएगा मतलब अमेजिंग लाइफ तो उनकी ही है सारी प्रॉब्लम हमारी ही है बिकॉज वी हैव द इंटेलिजेंस टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग्स दैट्स व्हाई दिस ह्यूमन लाइफ इज द ओनली वे टू गेट लिबरेटेड यू कैन नॉट गेट लिबरेशन फ्रॉम अ डॉग कैट और एलिफेंट unless you are blessed by God, right? But that's an extremely rare scenario. But human body is given so that we can understand what is the purpose of coming into this life. Otherwise, no point living life. But जब लोगों के पास घर नहीं थे जब लोगों के पास प्रॉपर्टीज नहीं होती थी they didn't used to earn 40-50 lakhs per annum they were having actually happy life. नो टेंशन ऑफ लीविंग अ जॉब नो टेंशन ऑफ कि कल को ले ऑफ होगा नो टेंशन ऑफ ऑफिस पॉलिटिक्स कुछ भी नहीं मतलब एक्चुअली हैप्पी लाइफ वाज देन जस्ट गांव में जाते थे अ लिटिल बिट क्रॉपिंग राइट फॉर देमसेल्फ समथिंग फॉर सेलिंग पिक दे ऑल हैड देयर सिस्टर होम एवरीवन वाज लिविंग हैप्पी घर में थोड़ी लड़ाई बड़ाई होती थी बट आज ही कौन सी कम होती है ठीक but that is thing continued but they were actually living happy life this whole scarcity is actually created by us. But the human life is not given us to make a home, earn a lot of money, and do this and that. It is given for us to understand why we are here, why we are suffering in this world. Right? So, an animal cannot understand that. So, it is not applicable for them. It is only applicable for humans. अर्जुन क्या हाँ ओके अर्जुन दैट अर्जुन ओके हाँ एग्जैक्टली तो we we do this because of our desires right we have so much desire to have कितना हमारे पास हो जाए they don't एक there are some animals who also do this collection like there are bees they collect honey there are some animals they collect nuts when the winter comes but they only collect how much they need they don't collect जीने के लिए मुझे 1 करोड़ चाहिए लेकिन मैं 500 करोड़ का घोटाला करके रखूं they don't do like that they don't do uh, घोटाले को क्या बोलते हैं corruption they don't do corruption to have more and more and more they will only keep only what it is needed for them not more but there is only problem with us so our intelligence which should be used for searching God which should be used for searching the purpose of life it is used for all the wrong things for the materialistic life so yeah that's why not for the animals it is only for us. नहीं तो माता नहीं एनिमल वी हैव 84 लाइक स्पीसीज राइट सो दे गो बाय स्पीसीज दैट स्टेप बाय स्टेप because we have done all this now correct we have to go through so if we are so attached let's say I'm so attached not me anyone is so attached with a rat right and at the time of death they think of rat oh rat well, I had the pet rat how beautiful it was and this and that how it will survive then I'll get a rat life then rat life in next another animal फिर next another animal next another so our shastra says there are only 4 species human life comes from. नहीं नहीं 4 from cow, from tulsi, from elephant and one more monkey. No, something else. Right. But only four species is the previous species from which a human body is given. It cannot be, an ant cannot become a human suddenly. They have to go through the whole 84 lakh species cycle. Then only human life is avoided. So one way is go through the cycle. Another way human life comes because I am human in this life, some of desires, but I did some good things, but some of my desires is still unfulfilled, so I'll get a human body again. Okay, finish that desires, come back to me. That's what comes. So the नहीं नहीं ये मैंने थोड़ी बोला. No, it's not. ऐसे तो मतलब every time we desire 100 of things, seeing people. It does not start our life. Our life goes on. But how do we get next life? How do we get next body? Based on our desires at the time of death and our karma. These two are the factors. ठीक है, तो हमारे जो डिजायर होते हैं, हमारे जो कर्म और जो हमारे कर्मा होते हैं, क्योंकि I may be desiring that I become Indra, I become Indra, I become Indra, and at the time of death also I'm thinking I become Indra, but then I don't deserve it. I have not the karma to become Indra. How can I become Indra? So these two things, desires plus karma, that's what decides our body. So any other question? Okay. So Arjuna should follow. Okay, where we were. So king's punishment we are thinking. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice, because Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. So whatever he says, it's a supreme justice. There cannot be any superior just to him. Right. And Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that the violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate, the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So, for the administration of justice, so called violence is permitted. So, judge is allowed to give the capital punishment. Right. But we will discuss a little bit deeper next, a little after some time. So, another example Srila Prabhupada gives, a surgical operation is not meant to kill a patient, but to cure him. Right. So, this. When you see this picture, what do you see? मतलब वो मैंने बता दिया, otherwise it will like this guy is going to kill. Right. So, but the surgeon, he knows that the knife it is being used to kill, actually, if say it's a tumor, he has to use the knife to kill the tumor to save the life. But someone who does not know about surgeon or the surgical knife, if show them this picture, what they'll think is going to kill someone. Right. So everything has a proper utility. And someone who is in the complete knowledge only can be authorized, or they should be authorized to instruct how it has to be utilized. Right. Those two examples prove that. And therefore, fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of the Krishna is with full knowledge. So here is no possibility of sinful reaction, and it will not give us karma, because God has asked Arjuna, Arjuna, right? Not that we are Arjuna, but when God asks Arjuna to do the killing, it means God is asking, so there is no point of sinful reaction. This is what exactly what we discussed. Then everything in the world has a proper utility, and Arjuna was not in the proper knowledge at that point of time, so he reached to Krishna. Krishna is what? Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is authority. He is in complete knowledge of things. So he reached Krishna. Same way, a lot of times we also tag a lot of things as useless in life. Like we just discussed, everything in this world, whatever is available, has a proper utility. So nothing is actually useless. Right? Everything has a proper utility. Because, and how we can understand that point? Because if Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is the perfect person. So whatever He has created, how can it be imperfect? So when we even see the dirty things thrown around the road or any place, even that has a proper utility. But someone who knows, they can only tell what is the proper utility. So only when we come to the knowledge of perfect platform of perfect knowledge, we can understand the things which have proper utility. Right? Not And until we are there, how we should know? Like if we are not there on the knowledge, on the platform of perfect knowledge, then how will we know the perfect or the utility of anything? What is the way? That's your question. Exactly, right. If we don't know about legal things, where do we go? We go to the lawyer. We don't know about medicine, we go to the doctor. So if we don't know about, say, something happening in our life or something is spiritually, then we should reach the authority at that point. Who has the complete knowledge? Not like कि हम मेकिंग अप समथिंग. मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे भगवान होंगे. मुझे लगता है कि हम ऐसा करेंगे तो ठीक हो जाएंगे. These are all mental concoctions. These are speculations. Does not help anyone. So to know any proper utility of anything, we have to reach the authority. That and for a spiritual thing, the authority is Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Right. Reach your Guru who is following the Shastra and according to the his peers also. So Guru, Sadhu, Shastra is the authority which should be followed in the spiritual knowledge. Now question: the same judge, we just told that the judge is correct. The same judge who does not have any knowledge of scriptures, but he gives the capital punishment to the murderer. The same judge, right? He does not know about any scripture. He does not follow scripture. He does not follow God, and he gives that capital punishment to the accused. Is he going to get the karma? What do you think? Right? Yes. Why? Bad what? Why?
He's having some law and some regulations. If you follow that one, it is basically
He is following the law and rules. Then what? Is he going to get a karma or not? Well, what is the answer? He will not going to get a karma.
he's giving a bad sentence. If the law is part of, based on our shastras, then he will not get karma.
But he does not have knowledge of Shastra. Coincidentally, if he is doing something right, will he get karma or not? He does not have knowledge. Soldier is authorized to kill. Okay. Okay. So he will not get karma. Because, okay. So there is a child. Mhm.
The same way, no one can say what to do to the judge because judge himself is the authority there.
A child does not know that if I put hand in fire, my hand will burn. Right? And then he puts his hand in fire. What would happen? His intention was correct. Let's say there is a firefighter. Let's not take example of child. There is a firefighter and he wants to save someone. Right? His intentions are good. Like the judge's intention that I want to save the society and this and that. And then he jumps into the fire to save someone. What would happen? He'll not get karma because his intentions are all right. Okay, that's a solution. But I'm saying he jumped into the fire, then what happens? He'll burn, right? The law does not discriminate. The law of nature does not discriminate. We know or we don't know. Intentions do not matter at all. The firefighter's intention was right to save someone, save some soul. But still, fire is there, he'll burn. So, if the judge does not have knowledge of the scriptures, he will also get the karma, actually. Right. And that's why our Shastra says that no one should take a position. Last time we discussed Rishabdev, he tells to his sons, no one should take a position of administrator, even demigods, or mother and father, or guru. Like that, he gave from 5, 6 rules. If they are not in complete knowledge of Shastra, this is very important. So, even though just intention was right, that he is saving the society, right? But because he does not have knowledge of Shastra, So we cannot say like he does not know he is following Shastra or not. So intentions do not matter here. He will actually get karma. Not as much as like a small karma, but yes, he will actually get the karma. Bad karma. Okay. That's an important point, right? So karma will be considered good or bad. So in this case, it will be actually good karma what he is going to get. But then he is stuck into the cycle of karma. Right. If he is leaving that person, not knowing the शास्त्र, he is leaving the person, सबूतों के अभाव में इसको बाइज्जत बरी किया जाता है. We have heard this dialogue, right, in Hindi movies. Right. So if he is doing that, that means he is going to get bad karma. But he is not talking about getting bad or good karma. The thing is about karma. Right. That means he is still stuck. Even though his whole life he did all the good things, coincidentally, it is as accurate as Shastra, but he did not have knowledge of Shastra, he is still stuck into the cycle of karma. Because those things are on the material point of view, on the material understanding, not on the spiritual understanding. Right.
Are against Shastra.
Correct.
If a person is knowledgeable and he knows the Shastra,
Shastra and the law.
then
What he should do? All subjective matter. Very subjective question. It all depends on what kind of crime it is, what kind of case it is. If the person knows, so laws are, when you talk about laws, no, laws are not something cast in stone. It is something as a reference, it's something as a guide to those judges, to the people. Like, if something like this happened, this should be the judgment. Right. If everything is clearly written, then the cases would not go on for 20, 30, 40 years. It is subject to interpretation. So laws are like a reference point for it. So if the judge has knowledge of laws, judge has knowledge of even Shastra also, he has to decide what is the correct thing. It is not judge, right? Who is going to punish the judge? In India, especially no one. There is not a single case of impeachment of a judge in India. Not a single case. So no one is going to impeach a judge. So they are the most powerful people in India at least. No judgment from anyone. Will the balance be there? Which balance? Between people committing crimes and them getting punished. So Prabhuji, our Shastra says that give them punishment. It does not say don't leave them. It asks to give punishment immediately. Right. That is a balancing. Think of a person. Think of a person who has committed a very heinous crime, and judge leniently gave him a punishment of okay 20 years for you because some reasons, and then there is a jailbreak. That person got out, or for some reasons he got some jack राष्ट्रपति से कहीं से भी he got pardon या किसी ने लूट लिया कुछ भी हुआ for any XYZ reasons he got out of the jail. What would that person do? We know his nature, right? He will again commit the similar crime. So what is good to do with him? A judge should kill him instantly or make him lenient and give him lifetime of enjoyment. And in jail also he can do the same thing. Who knows? Well, jails are actually treated for that reason.
for jail, then that person improves. Then will that karma be like in his?
Improves does not remove your karma, right? I killed someone and then I became a saint does not absolve me from killing someone. It is for future he did. Like karma, every moment we do karma. Right. So he got improved. He's a sant now, but still he has to pay for his old karma unless he's taking Harinam and going out of the world. Right. The only way to cut the karma cycle is Harinam. There is no other way. Right. So he is improved person. He may be a best guy in the world. but he is not taking care God's name, then he has to suffer.
So,
Hmm.
my question
Not true.
so
Nice karmic discussion.
like be the judges or who are right, like who are giving those actual verdicts, right? So they may not be knowing about our shastras and like what just have a look in terms of like okay, if like say if something is unconstitutional, right? Like, so in that case like do these judges and all like they enter this
They will 100%. That's what we discussed in this.
like someone else wrote this, right? Like today our system like it's not easy to change anything.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's why the Shastra says that someone who does not have knowledge of Shastra should not become a judge. There have been judges who actually have read Shastras. Right? They followed as is. And judgments for the same crime, you see 20 people give 20 judges give the 20 different judgments. It's not always same. So that's the point I was trying to make. The constitution gives just a reference point. The Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, the latest law book of India, that gives you reference for things. It is not cast in stone. It can be interpreted case to case basis. Right. So, a judge, if he does not know, he is following the law. You are right, he has to follow the law. But those laws are for the material things, right? Those laws are not written thinking about the soul. Otherwise, how can we have the law of discrimination and everything if it is about the soul? Soul cannot be discriminated. Every soul is in same quality. Those laws are written on the material point of view. So, the judgment is also on the material point of view. The karma will also be there.
So
It's a very difficult condition for the judge. I understand your point.
is it fair to say like judges will have like purpose than us? Like
They may, but that's true, right? But if there is a judge, his job is to so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He was a judge in British era. He used to do judgment, and according to Shastra, he is in Vaikuntha, right? Other judges are still here. We don't know, मतलब they are the same or हमारी मेहनत ज्यादा होगी वहाँ तो उतने ही हमको कर्म ज्यादा बदलने की वो chances है मतलब हाँ actually yes that's why these higher positions are more prone to getting more karma because you are not just going to get accumulate your karma but also the karma of the people you are responsible for, and that is why the shastra says that no one should become an administrator, a king, a guru, parent. It does not say no one should become a liberal or any Sudra or Vaishya. Because that is limited to ourselves only. But these people are responsible for more people. Like the parents are responsible for their children. If they are not teaching good things, they are also going to get karma. Because these are the position of authority. So any authoritative position, any person who is in authoritative position must have knowledge of Shastra. That is the baseline. So yes, it may be difficult condition for judge, but that's his choice. Who has stopped him to not read Shastra? He can also read Shastra. Any other question? हाँ माता जी. तो माता जी कौन फिर से हम लोग इस पॉइंट पे डिस्कस क्यों हो रहे हैं? शास्त्र ये नहीं कहते कि उनको छोड़ दो. गिव देम पनिशमेंट. हाँ. क्राइम भी बहुत तरीके के होते हैं. Apart from the authority side, to much more difficult. It's a domestic violence, rapist case, yeah, someone murders someone without any reason. So, but in that case, obviously, judge has to give the punishment, right? Because the crime happened, है ना? As per the law, as per the constitution, as per the material thing I'm talking about. But वहाँ पे जज ये नहीं बोल सकता ना कि शास्त्रों में तो मतलब ऐसे. Under six type of oppressor we discussed. Six type of oppressors. किस तरीके के लोगों को मार सकते हैं. Okay, okay. For that, yeah, yeah. Shastra has for नहीं but So one of those things was about in self-defense also. If you are killing someone in self-defense, you are not actually committing a sin. अगर जज को पता होगा ये चीज, then he is doing according to Shastra. Why would he get karma?
तो वो एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा है कि क्राइम किया है मतलब मर्डर किया है। अब आपने अच्छे तरीके से मतलब आपका इंटेंशन क्या था मतलब व्हाट यू हैव आई So this is very subjective. Law class हो जाएगी, but not all self-defense are self-defense. Right. There could be immediate self-defense. Someone is actually coming to kill me, and in defense, I killed someone. Or someone, he has beaten me long back. Next time, he should not beat me, so I'll kill him. Right. These two are very different things. So, all, again, we are not having a law class here, but it is all very subjective. And you are saying that, yes, there may be chances that judge has to give judgment based on the constitution, not according to शास्त्र. जैसे शास्त्र ये भी कहता है कि किसी ने आपकी बीवी को किडनैप किया आप मार सकते हो या किसी ने आपकी प्रॉपर्टी हड़ मतलब someone who is grabbed over your property kill them तब तो वादी दुनिया खत्म हो जाती है इंडिया तो स्पेशली ठीक हर घर में दो भाई खत्म होते हैं right. But then it has to be subjective. These laws are based on this kal or something. This kal or patra. Okay. So someone who has knowledge of Shastra, they will know this kal or patra also. Where to apply, where not to apply. That's why complete knowledge is important. Not someone who knows six type of person. That's it. I know this Shastra and I started killing everyone. Then they are not in complete knowledge. So complete knowledge is something very important to understand. आप कंप्लीट नॉलेज अबाउट दैट वी आर लाइक टोटली अनलेस मतलब पता ही नहीं कि ये कंप्लीट है कि नहीं then what should we do कंप्लीट है most of the time that's what happens right हमें लगता है कि हमें सब कुछ पता है and then we decide accordingly then what would happen that's illusion that's a maya you answered your question that is illusion right in that case what we should do we should follow this guru sadhu shastra. Like if any scientific paper is released, you are in physics, so I can take that example. The scientist who has released the paper, they always think that this is correct, this is the perfect thing what I have done. But still, they cannot just get it released. They cannot publish it just like that. It has to go through peer reviews. At least 10, 20, 30, 50 people will do the peer review, and when it is authorized by them, then only it gets published. Guru Sadhu Shastra. Even if I think I know the knowledge, I should always go back and refer to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Right, and then only decide whether it is correct or not. At least in life's big decisions, this is something very, very important. Right. Otherwise, it will be just mental speculation for us. हम जो सोच रहे हैं वही सही है ऐसे नहीं होता है any other question I know other get to the question again we'll go to next verse there are devotee lawyers but it's a very difficult life for them lawyer is equal to liar right well 99.99% cases even Srila Prabhupada used to say that lawyer is liar without lie their life cannot go on how can they fight in the courts so very few cases devotee don't want to become a liar lawyer all right so we'll go to the next verse वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान् अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान् अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि
So translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, as a person, very famous verse. As a person puts new garment, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless one. Has anyone not heard this verse before? At least not the verse, at least the meaning. I think everyone would have. Everyone would have heard. जैसे हम पुराने कपड़े छोड़ के नए कपड़े पहनते हैं वैसे ही बॉडी सोल एक बॉडी छोड़ के दूसरी बॉडी सो वेरी वेरी फेमस वर्ड सो विल गो विद द पर्पल. So Srila Prabhupada says that change of the body by atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Right. The soul is atomic, it's very minute in size, and it changes the body. That's a accepted fact. Even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of the body, which appears from the childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From this, from the old age, the change is transferred to another body, which we already saw in 2.13. Dehi navasmi nekha dehi, kaumaram yaumanam jara. Right. Tatha dehantar praptir dhirastatra namuyati. Means our body keeps on changing every time. And we discussed that even medical science says that in 7 years all the cells of our body gets replaced. So this body is not the same the body what I had 7 years back. And every moment some cell die, some cell remains in our body. Right. So not the same body I had just a minute back. It keeps on changing. But what is something which remains constant in the body? Still, you don't change my name, right? I'm Abhishek Shukla. Now this moment, next moment, it is someone else. V2, V3, V4. Right. Exactly. So version infinity, 10 to the power 105. Right. We don't change the name. Because something which remains constant in the body, even the body keeps on changing. That is the soul. Right. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Now, what is the cause of a soul for changing body? Why does a soul change body? कर्मा क्या कर्मा आप इस बॉडी में रह के करते रहिए. हाँ, one body to another. What is the reason it changes body? हाँ, मतलब one body to another. Of Harinam and Seva. So we have to keep changing the body so we are able to do it. Madhuri, how many of the human perform these transcendental activities? But body तो सभी change करते हैं. And forget about humans. All the जीवा change body. What is the reason the body is changed? एक तो है कि decay हो जाएगी. That is correct reason. It becomes useless after some time. But then a lot of people die in natural death also. आराम से बैठे सोए थे कभी उठे ही नहीं. There are a lot of people. Why do they change body? सोल है फिर माता जी क्या डिजायर. हाँ मतलब डिजायर भी एक रीजन हो सकता है. दैट इज आल्सो करेक्ट. द डिजायर आई वांट टू हैव 100 sons or 100 children and my wife is that's it. करना है जाओ दूसरी बॉडी में. ओके लेट मी बिकम अ डॉग और insect. I'll have 100 sons. That is also one of the reasons. Yes. What else? Because of karma. I have some karma and my body does not is not applicable to fulfill the results of the karma. My soul has to change the body. Like I have accumulated so many karma, millions of karma in lifetimes, in millions of lifetimes, and then I have to fulfill all. Some can be fulfilled in this body, and for some I need another body to get fulfilled. Like if I killed a chicken, I ate a lot of non-veg, then I have to become a chicken to get killed by other people. So human body में तो वो fulfill होगा नहीं. Then maybe next life I'll become chicken. Sneha chicken shop पे पहुंचेंगे. And someone else will take that karma. Right? So that is also one of the reason karma and desire. So Srila Prabhupada mentions this thing. Transference of the atomic individual soul to the other body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. So how it happened? Because of the grace of the super soul. But the super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul, as one friend fulfills the desires of another. जैसे आपका friend, like your friend fulfills the desire of you, like यार आज बहुत रसगुल्ला खाने का मन कर रहा है, चलो चलो ऑफिस के बाहर मिलता है, let's have it. So like that, Paramatma is our super friend. He is also living just beside our soul. Right. He listens, he sees everything, what is the desire. And he sees that there's a lot of desire which cannot be fulfilled in this body. And all the karma, all the desire for this body is done. Let's change. That's how that change in body happened by the soul. Right. That's what our Shastra says. So, yeah. So, Mundaka Upanishad and Svetaswara Upanishad, that also have the similar, that verse comes up. We told that we'll have this discussion again. So this verse says that although the two birds are in the same tree, we are discussing about Atma and Paramatma, right? Soul and the super soul. So although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with the anxiety and the moroseness of as the enjoyer of the fruit of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face towards his friends, the Lord, and knows His glory, at once all the suffering, at once the suffering world becomes free from all anxieties. Means this picture. On this tree there are two birds. You're seeing that, right? One bird is eating the fruit, so that bird is us, Jiva, right? And beside that there is another bird who's calmly watching. And what does it watch? That this person is eating the fruit. Some fruit may be bitter, some fruit may be sweet, some fruit maybe is spoiled, right? He's eating and he's suffering for all the thing, or maybe fruit is over and now he's hungry. So he's just watching. And all the problem in this first bird's life is because there's a bird beside him and he's not turning his face towards the bird. Right? Mundaka Upanishad, Shvetashwar Upanishad both says that. If by any chance this bird sees the other bird, that there is a bird behind me who can take care of all my problems, he sees that and he starts following the other bird, all the problems in his life will be gone. Right? So, this is what is mentioned in this bird. Of all these birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of material tree. Right? That is our desires. Hmm? While the other is simply witnessing the activity of his friend. So Krishna is the witnessing bird and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and other is still the servant. So how can we understand this? In a home, if there is a master and the servant does all the things thinking that I am the master, right? He is not seeing the master has gone for vacation, and he's doing everything thinking that his master, whatever he wants to do, he can do. But if one thing is over, from where he will get that? Let's say चाय की पत्ती खत्म हो गई, उसको चाय बनाना है. No money. From where he will get the tea? He cannot. Now he will start suffering. अब चाय कैसे पिए? अब ये कैसे करें? Right, all those things. But then his master comes and he says, "Oh master, please, ये खत्म हो गया, ये खत्म हो गया, ये खत्म हो गया. Please grant me that." Okay. Then his master can give. So same thing is with us. We are the servants of the Lord. Like, that is our constitutional position as a soul. If we see towards our master for everything, our problem should be solved. That's why we say that karma, akarm, wahi hai, कि when we put God at the center of everything, for everything we do, if we consult or if we take the master at the center, there won't be any problem at all. Right? The material problem will come and go. This is the, if we are in the matter, law of nature has to be followed. Right? So these things will come and go, but God protects the soul. He does not. God protects the bhakti. He is not here to protect the body. Right? So someone if say कि ये तो इतना बड़ा भक्त था फिर भी उसको कैंसर हो गया फिर भी उसको ये हो गया, it's okay. Because this is the body. It anyway has to go, and that's what Krishna is saying, right?
Your teachers, your grandfather, your relative, they anyway have to die. Their body anyway has to go. Right? So why worry about that? But what they will get, think about that. In next life, they will get a higher life. They will become a devata. They will go to heavenly planet. Right? So right now they are suffering on the earth. They will go to heaven and they will enjoy for long things. All their desires will be fulfilled. Right? So
Completely free from anxieties. How does that happen? If I may ask, like,
can you tell me one anxiety? Give me one example of anxiety. Like work. Why do we work? To live, to earn. Why do we earn? To survive. How do we survive? By eating, right? If there are brahmachari who are living in the temples, don't they survive? Or someone who is living in the jungle, they don't survive. They're also surviving, right? Probably better than us. So when you go to the root cause of everything, in the end it will come. It's all man-made problems. We do work to accumulate things. Another anxiety to accumulate things to have our future secured, this and that. But what's the that does not give us security, right? Like I can have a lot of money, I can have a lot of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, he had like tens of thousand crores of money. Did it reduce any of his pain? He went through all of these sufferings. He was sick for a long, long, long time, years, and one day he died. उतना मनी तो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते. होना तो छोड़ दीजिए, मतलब we cannot even imagine that kind of thing. Does not. Right? So it's all man-made problem. So any anxiety, if you go to root cause, you'll find that this cause is actually created by us. Take example of kids. Where a kid बहुत परेशान करता है, ये problem, वो problem. But then these things will keep on coming. We have to suffer. We have to content with that. We cannot let go. मतलब इसका मतलब नहीं कि बच्चे को उठाकर फेंक दो, चलो अब निकल जाओ जंगल में. We can't do that. It is our karma that we are suffering those things. So in last class also, our Saturday last class, and a very important point in some of the lecture also I was hearing last week, this both point came, well, like same point came both places. Very important. Why do we have karma? What is the reason we have karma? What do you think we have karma? तो इसलिए हमको कर्मा मिलता है, बट वाई? मतलब व्हाट द पर्पस ऑफ कर्मा? ठीक है, लेट मी रिफ्रेश द क्वेश्चन. व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ कर्मा?
आपको करना मन है, then we do the thing that we want to do. So अगर किसी को मारना होगा हम मार देंगे, कुछ खाना होगा खा लेंगे.
You understand?
Yeah, to get us on the right track.
Yeah, that's a correct answer. Every karma is for us to teach something. Otherwise, there is no point of having karma. If we are not understanding, we are not taking the output from it. If I'm suffering in this life, that means I have to take the positive. Why I'm suffering? What can I do not to suffer in the next time? Right? अगर गाड़ी चला रहे हैं, ठीक है, बढ़िया स्पीड से, और रास्ते में अच्छा कीचड़ था, अरे मैं तो परफेक्ट ड्राइवर हूँ, गिरे धाड़ आया. ठीक. उसके बाद इफ वी आर नॉट लर्निंग, देन इट्स यूजलेस. हो गिरने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं है, फिर से वही काम कर रहे हैं. Then what's the use? So every single karma is to teach us something. That's why God has created the karma, so that we can understand that we are suffering, we are having the result because we would have done something wrong, we did something wrong, and to learn from that, not to do this again. If you are not doing that, if you are not understanding the purpose of karma, then it's all useless. We will be stuck in the karmic cycle because we don't understand this. That's why karma is fun. Because we don't understand what we need to learn actually from this mistake. Or we don't try to understand. It's not like we don't understand. A lot of time we don't try to understand. What you are talking about, Mataji, is extremely rare cases. But most of the cases we know things, but we cannot control our desires. Right? You think about that. 99% of the time, it is you know already. Okay. You don't need to know from which action this karma you are getting. Right? You don't have to go retrospective mode. Go into prospective mode. Right? If I'll not do this, I will not get this karma. Right? Don't think about the past because God says very clearly, understanding karma is not possible. Okay? And don't try to even understand that because you cannot. So better you just think of the future, like what should be done as per the Shastra and Guru, and do this so that you don't get the karma. Right? That's the whole point of karma, right? Reduce your bad karma and good karma, and then increase your karma. One point when it is all equal, you'll go back to Godhead. Right? So it's pointless to go back in past to think why, but it's more about okay, what shall I like if I'm burnt by fire, I have to learn that I should not touch the hot object. Even if I know, I don't know. So that's the thing. Any other question? Right. So now, why the reason this thing happened? Why is the reason we get stuck into this and the fruit and all those things, the cycle of karma comes. So that also is explained by Srila Prabhupada. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another. So this bird, once this branches or once this tree's fruit is over, it will jump to another tree because it has to eat more. Right. Then another tree, then another tree. That's how the soul also changes the body. My desire for this body is fulfilled. I'll jump to the next body. Now I have worked enough for my whole life in bank or in whatever in IT companies. I just want to relax. Let me sleep for 20 hours a day. Right. The God will say, okay, next time you become polar bear, sleep for 6 months. Why 20 hours? Sleep for 6 months. Or maybe 10 months, 12 months. 12 months तो नहीं मतलब 2 महीने तो उठेगा. And go into hibernation. So God will give it like that. So the desires is what it keeps on changing the body. That's the reason. That's what it is. And because we are forgetful of our relationship. When we are forgetful of our relationship with the God, what we do, we are only thinking about our material desires, our bodily desires. And we think only about body and so on, jumping from here to there. And the cycle goes on. Right. Now, what is the way out then? Hari Ram. Yes, that's a perfect answer. But what else? साधु शास्त्र और गुरु का संग करो वैष्णव का संग करो okay that's also correct detachment of the from the result of the karma let's say Mataji I have done a karma like I am earning much but I am aloof of all the things what I am earning okay. Would that give me karma or not like I it is a karma right so how can you be aloof how can you be detached God at the center. Right. So it is not just detachment, it is having devotion also, doing things for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. That is also something very important. If I'm just detached, मैंने बच्चा पैदा कर लिया मैं detach हो गया भाग गया ठीक exactly right so that is something like that so our duty as a soul is to love God so detachment is not the only way that becomes the karma yoga but we have to get above the level of karma yoga to jnana yoga and actually bhakti yoga. Right? Not just to stuck with the karma yoga. So, Hmm. So that's the thing, right? Harinam and all these things. This is what the answer is given here. Once the bird turns its face towards the other bird, that is the master, his problem will be solved. So Srila Prabhupada mentions here. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of material body. But as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme master, supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do voluntarily surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate mind immediately become free from all limitations. Right? Putting Krishna at the center, accepting first that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and whatever I'm going to do is for the pleasure of Krishna. That's it, right? मेरा बच्चा बहुत परेशान करता है, मुझे कमाना है, मुझे ये करना है, all the work tension, this and that thing. If I'm doing only service of Krishna, all these things are gone. I have a son, I have to make him Krishna conscious son, right? So solve my problem. Let Krishna take care of it. And actually, we have been given kid only for that reason. We are not the owner of our kids. That is something which comes into art of parenting class. But we are not the owner of our kids. We are just the caretakers. Owner is only one. Right? Krishna is the owner. So all we have to think, like in office, if we are given work to someone or we have been made a buddy of someone, we have to take care of them कि भाई अच्छे से हो रहा है, onboarding हो गया, सब कुछ आ गया. We take care of them, right? So like that also we have to take care of our kid. Not like मेरी तरह की दो झापड़ लगा. मतलब कभी कभी वो भी अगर जरूरी है तो करना पड़ता है. But then it's a responsibility. So if we are making them Krishna conscious kid, problem will be solved. Yes, problem may come, but then we have to understand it's a temporary thing. Like a season comes and go. The problem will also come and go. But the important thing is surrender to the Supreme Personality of God. That is the way out. So, yeah. Now, Srila Prabhupada further he explains that. Okay. Arjuna is advised herewith with the Lord not to lament for the bodily changes of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should be rather happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may get cleansed at once of all the reaction from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of the bodily reaction and promoted to a higher status of life. Right. So they get the result of the karma immediately, they will get the higher body. Because that's what God is saying. So there was no cause of Arjun's lamentation. Right. So that's why Arjun, Krishna is trying to prove Arjun's logic faulty. That so there can be a point like Arjuna is saying, he is not really saying that in Bhagavad Gita, but like if I am killing those people, that means I am stopping their karmic cycle. Also can be an argument given that I am also stopping their enjoyment in the body. Hmm? Then what about that? Is it not violence? Is it not a sin that I am stopping? That they could have enjoyed more in their body, but I have stopped it by killing them. So what is the answer? The Krishna is authorizing, and he says it clearly, they will be promoted to higher life, where the enjoyment will be 100 times more. So why not give them more enjoyment? कि किसी को मीठा खाना है, अरे बहुत मीठा खाना है, बहुत मीठा खाना है, और उसको बिना चीनी की खीर दे दो, और what's the use? उसको या कम चीनी में, because तुमको बहुत मीठा खाना है, बहुत मैंने ये लो, this is the sweetest chocolate in the market, eat it, or sweetest खीर you can make, अच्छे से खाओ. So if they want to enjoy, they have to enjoy. Why not give them higher enjoyment? And that's what they will get when they are killed in the battlefield. Because they are doing it for the righteous cause. Arjuna is doing.
At some point, when we got separated from the Supreme God, that probably would have happened instantly. Right? But to return back to Godhead, like why is it like
So much.
why is it like so layered or like?
But we don't know probably how long it happened that we got separated from God. We are thinking it's instantly. Maybe it's not instant. It was long time which got us separated. If you think of a practical or real life scenario, a husband and wife they got divorced. It's not instantly. एक झपड़ मारा. मतलब not every movie is कौन सी movie थी वो? Huh? थप्पड़. Not every movie. Not real life with थप्पड़. Not really happened. एक झपड़ मारा. That's it. Bye. Goodbye. Even there also it took some time. when she went away. Right. So when a husband wife they also get separated, it's a long time they have suffered with each other, they have the disagreements, and then only this happens. It is not instant. So maybe when the soul was actually got away from God's land, from our original place, maybe it was long time desire which got us. Like we keep on desiring after desiring, नहीं 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 यही क्यों, भगवान ही क्यों एंजॉय कर रहा है, मैं क्यों नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मुझे क्यों नहीं अच्छा खाने को मिलता है, ये वो whatever. After a long time, maybe there's a threshold and God, bye bye. चलो तुम enjoy करना चाहते हो, go there. There's a world for you. Go and enjoy there. It may not have happened instantly. We don't know. It would have happened also for long, long time. Right? And why it takes long time to go back? Because our desire does not get fulfilled. We are not ready to let go of our desire and to go back to God. That's why it takes long time. Millions of lifetimes just to reduce a desire. How about it? Okay.
कहते हैं कि लास्ट इच्छा पूरी करनी चाहिए जाने से पहले। जब कोई मरने वाला होता है तो पूछते हैं कि व्हाट इज योर लास्ट।
उनके पास पूछने की बात है, बात नहीं मतलब बहुत
इतना नहीं है but
और इस एक्चुअली पता है ये पॉइंट एक ऐसा है ना, बहुत कॉन्टेंशियस पॉइंट है, मतलब ऐसा लास्ट इच्छा तो हमारी ये होनी चाहिए भगवान से मिलना। ठीक।
वो कुछ ना कुछ और
आप अब मैं बताता हूँ कि कैसे इस पॉइंट का मिसयूज किया जाता है। We were talking about Shraddh the other day, right? So a lot of people, when the Shraddh is done for some our ancestor, they prepare, क्योंकि उनको चिकन पसंद था, क्योंकि वो हमेशा चिकन के लिए पी रहे, तो आई विल प्रिपेयर चिकन फॉर देम और मैं उनके लिए छोड़ूंगा। दैट्स हाउ दिस पॉइंट इज एक्चुअली मिसयूज्ड। राइट। लास्ट इच्छा क्या होती है? हु नोज लास्ट इच्छा? वो बंदा कौन सा बोल के मार रहा है, दिमाग में कुछ चल रहा है, हम बोलते कुछ है। जैसे चैंटिंग करते हैं, मुंह में कुछ चलता है, ठीक है, और दिमाग में कुछ और चलता है। तो वी डोंट नो व्हाट इज द लास्ट डिजायर, ओनली गॉड नोज एंड ही फुलफिल्स।
because of the desires which are we get them.
Yeah, obviously, that's what we discussed. It's all because of our desire. And because our desire does not get finished, from life after life after life, we keep on getting stuck into this. Like, so,
Desires are fulfilled.
we don't know.
Okay, so
So, you can never be without desires, actually. That is one thing you have to understand. You can never ever be without desire. But whether your desire is material or spiritual, that's what you know, right? मतलब one can have desire, I want to meet God, that's my utmost desire. I want to serve God 24 by 7, that is my desire. This is good desire. This is spiritual desire. And spiritual desires are not bad. But then I want to earn more money. अभी तो 50 लाख सैलरी है, क्यों ना 70 पे हो जाए. Then I want to have some 2-3 more बंगला. अभी तो मतलब विला छोटे हो गए, अब तो सीधे बड़े बंगले का टाइम है। कौन सा एक मुंबई में ना वो सब, आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज विला और व्हाट 500 करोड़ रुपए फ्लैट, लाइक व्हाट, वन फ्लैट कॉस्टिंग 500 करोड़। स्काई स्क्रैपर ही होगा वो जो भी हो। इवन योर बिल्डिंग इज आल्सो स्काई स्क्रैपर, राइट? सो it all depends. We cannot be without desire. A jeev cannot be, a soul cannot be without desire. That is one thing we have to understand. So it's not that desire becomes zero. When I say desire becomes zero, that means material desires become zero. It all becomes your spiritual desire. Right? That we know. Like where we are. हम सबको पता कितने पानी में. Right? So that's how. Any other question? Ranking system, Prabhuji, we are the ranking system. We talked about this, like how we know we are progressing in bhakti. Right. You have to see where were you a year back, 6 months back. Right. What were your activities? What is your activity now? You are, there cannot be a better judge than you yourself. Some people ask me कि क्या change हुआ है तुम्हारी life में? मैं सर को बताता हूँ, पता नहीं. Right. But when I'll keep on noting every year or every month कि this thing I did, maybe after 5 years I'll see, okay, I used to do this, now I'm doing this. This is something changed. उस समय नहीं याद आएगा. But there cannot be better judge than us, how we are changed. Right, for anything. बाहर वाले तो मतलब बाकी लोग तो बता सकते हैं देख के, but आपकी desires क्या है, आपकी अंदरूनी इच्छा क्या है, only you will know. There may be a time you will like, "Hey, I want to earn more and more and more." Now maybe you're like, "अरे यार ठीक है, लाइफ चल रही है ना, दैट्स इनफ। जॉब है, लाइफ चल रही है, खाने को तो है ना, थोड़ा बहुत सेविंग हो जा रही है, दैट इज इट। आई डोंट वांट एनी मोर। आई वांट लाइक कि थोड़ा समय मुझे स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए मिले, बाकी जॉब तो चलती रही। अगर हम जॉब को जॉब की तरह लेंगे कि हमें अपने सर्वाइव करने के लिए लेना है, तो जॉब इज गुड। अगर हम जॉब को ऐसे ले लेंगे हमको अपने ही नहीं सर्वाइव करना, हम अपने 25 आगे की जनरेशन को सर्वाइव करवाना है, देन दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम। एक हिंदी में कहावत है, पूत कपूत तो क्या धन संचय, पूत सपूत तो क्या धन संचय। अगर आपके बच्चे लायक हैं तो आपको एक्चुअली कुछ इकट्ठा करने की जरूरत नहीं है, और आपके बच्चे नालायक है तो आपको एक्चुअली कुछ इकट्ठा करना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि वो सब वही में बेच खाएंगे। तो it all depends, we know always where we are।
Start getting satisfied. People start saying, "Oh, you are in a comfort zone. You don't want to do anything." And
That's okay, Master। What is more important? आप जब मर जाओगे तो आपने कंफर्ट जोन में दिखना forget it। That's okay। You have to think about yourself first। First become selfish, then you become think about others। If you are not, if you are not selfish about yourself, your soul, then there is no point what others are saying। अगर हमें अपने बच्चे को बचाने जाना है, अगर बच्चा मेरा हॉस्पिटल में है एंड माय मैनेजर सेइंग इतना काम बचा है, आई डोंट टेक केयर ऑफ मैनेजर का, भाड़ में जाओ यार तुम, ठीक है, गिव मी लीव ऑफ एब्सेंस, आई डोंट केयर, यू टेक कट माय 2 days सैलरी, दिस इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। That urgency does not come in our spiritual life। We don't understand that कि what is most important for us, getting stuck in the cycle of karma or getting out of this world and settle there। That urgency is missing। So we take care of what this guy is saying, what that guy is saying। ठीक, a lot of people, मतलब हम में से भी होंगे, ठीक है, we don't do chanting या खूब से में जाके chanting करेंगे so that no one can see us and ask the question। Who cares? हो सकता है आप एक दो दिन करोगे and maybe two people will ask, next day they will stop bothering about it। So we think more about these things than others think actually। हम अपने दिमाग में ज्यादा सोचते हैं कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे, लोग क्या सोचेंगे, लोग क्या सोचेंगे। लोगों के पास टाइम ही नहीं है सोचने का, वो अपनी ही लाइफ में मरे जा रहे हैं। So don't worry about them। You think about yourself first। In bhakti the first thing you will become selfish, then only you can become a social worker or whatever worker you want to be, right? तो मतलब इवन चैतन्य महाप्रभु भी चैतन्य चरितामृत में कहते हैं कि पहले अपना उपकार करो बिफोर यू डूइंग एनी परोपकार। हाँ, put your mask first before you put mask to your child, right? So that's the point। So if one thing you want to take away from this verse, stop thinking about what others are saying। कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, आप कुछ भी करोगे लोग कहेंगे, आप वो नहीं करोगे तो भी लोग कहेंगे। मान लीजिए आप यहाँ चैंटिंग, मान लीजिए आप कांग्रेगेशन में हो और आपने कहा लोग तो ये कह रहे थे इसलिए मैंने चैंटिंग छोड़ दी, तो हम लोग कहेंगे, कोई तो कहेगा। Someone will say something, right? So, कितनों को, you are not here to please everyone, right? You are here to get yourself, yourself yoked with God, connect with God। This body is not given to please people; it's given to connect with God and go out। So do that first। That is the most important thing। Any other question? Right. So we'll go to the very famous verse of the next। Right. नयनम छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि, नैनं दहति पावकम्, न चैनं क्लेदयन्तापो, न शोषयति मारुतः। न नयनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि, नैनं दहति पावकम्, न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो, न शोषयति मारुतः। Any problem? Is easy।
न चिंतन्ति शस्त्राणि
नैनं दहति पावकम्, न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो, न शोषयति मारुतः। Very good। नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि, नैनं दहति पावकम्, I'm saying, yeah, so translation divine basis in the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Right. Well, it cannot be cut. We just saw in the previous verses also similar thing. So Krishna is trying his best to convince Arjuna by giving all the qualities of soul, telling the similar thing in other words. Right. It cannot be cut to pieces by any weapon. It cannot be so Sastrani say मतलब कोई weapon and power का नाइनम दानिमा it cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be moistened by the water or withered by the wind. Right. So why these things? Why these particular specific things are mentioned here? Right. So Srila Prabhupada explains here all kinds of weapons, whether it's a sword, flame weapons, rain weapon, tornado weapon, are unable to kill the spirit soul. So all kind of weapon you can classify into one of these things. Right. Science is yet to know about what is a tornado weapon or what is a rain weapon. But anyone remembers Ramayana or Mahabharata? When from one side there is a Agni weapon goes, and then from the other side there will be water weapon, and this Agni gets subsided, and then that's it. Right. So there was a counter weapon which science has not yet discovered, but it was there. Similarly, fire weapons, the bombs and all missile, nuclear weapons, they are all fire weapons only. Right. So these all things cannot kill the soul. Nothing can kill the soul. Right. Again, he's trying to prove the point that nothing can kill the soul. Like last time we discussed about the weapons and all everything. But someone can say, okay, soul cannot be killed by weapons. Okay, I agree. What about I'll put some ultraviolet rays, X-rays, and this and that, or heat, super like I'll put the soul into the super high temperature. Let's say in the sun, I will put. What will happen to them? Right? So that's what God is clarifying. Nothing. Still, it cannot be killed because soul cannot be killed at all. Right. So that's what being mentioned. Nor it was ever possible to cut the individual soul from the original supreme soul. So that is one very important point. Nanam chindanti sastrani. We said now we got separated from the Lord. So it was not really like कि God का था और उसमें से थोड़ा सा कट कर दिया और कुछ बच गया कि आपके पास इतना सारा हलवा है थोड़ा सा हलवा दे दिया. It is not like that. Right. So it was always there. So it was never possible to cut the individual soul from the original supreme soul. Rather, the individual soul are eternally separated part of the supreme soul. Very important point is this is actually counter for Mayavadi philosophy. They say that we are Brahman, right, and we'll get merged into Brahman. It was always separated. It was never that we are part of that. Because this was proof that Nanam Chintan this it cannot be cut. The spirit cannot be cut into pieces. If it is cannot be cut, then how will it get separated? That's not the case. Right. This particular verse proves that. Even next verse will prove it even more. Right. So here it is like how we were never separated, but we were always eternally separated from the Lord. But in Vaikuntha we were doing we were service of the Lord. Right. It was never cut into the pieces. Now because the atomic individual souls eternally, they are prone to covered by the illusory energy and thus may become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord. Just as the spark of a fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when they are out of fire. Very perfect example. We have a big fire. If we have to put off the fire, say jungle fire. In Australia last year there was jungle fire. And it took months, many months to just extinguish that fire. Right, and that also happened when nature actually came into effect. So if there is a big fire, it will take a lot of effort to extinguish that. Right, supreme soul cannot even do that. That cannot be extinguished. But when a small particle of the fire comes out, it's very easy to suppress that. Right, you can just simply just say
कैसे की एग्जांपल है, a lot of time we would have seen that, एक वो जब हम पटाखा जलाते हैं, अब जब दिवाली में पटाखे जलाते हैं, तो अगर आपको आपका जो छुरछुरी को क्या बोलते हैं, फुलझड़ी, what do we call it in English, जो भी lights, ठीक, if you have to put down the light, it is not easy, you have to put 2 3 times or put water but when the sparkle comes from it, even अगर it like drops on your hand, immediately it goes off. Right. This is the condition of the soul. This is what happened to us. When we were with the God in Vaikuntha, when we were God in the Golok Vrindavan, we were like eternal, we were all happy with full potency. But then, and we were not affected by the Maya. But when we got separated from the Lord, just like the spark separates from the Fulgari, it was very easy for Maya to overcome us. Because we are atomic, it's very small. A sun can be can never be covered by cloud, but a sun rays are covered by the cloud. Right? It's the same logic. So because we got separated from the Lord due to our desires, it was very easy for Maya to overcome us and do whatever it is, control us. And that's the point being made here. So in Varaha Puran, the living entities are described as the separated part and parcel of the Supreme. They are eternally so according to the Bhagavad Gita also. Right? So all the Shastra also explain the same thing. Now, a lot of times the logic is given in other philosophies that we are Brahman, and when we'll get the knowledge, we'll get merged into Brahman. Right. Actually, what happens then? They say the by example, like there is a river, it goes and get merged into the sea. Hmm? And that's how we become merged into Brahman. You'll see, if you talk to this kind of logic will be given. But what our Shastra, what our Acharya says that it is not like that. This river is actually getting merged into Brahman. That's correct. But then those fishes which are in the river, they don't get merged into the water, ocean. They still have their individuality. That individuality is never lost. We are individual here, we'll be individual when we go to the Vaikuntha also, when we go back to the Godhead also. That time also we will remain the individual. This individuality is never lost. Like the fish, when it goes from the river to the sea, it is still fish. It does not become something else. It does not get merged into the ocean. Right. So that's how it can be understood. So even after being liberated from the illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Like Arjuna become liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna. He got Bhagavad Gita, but he cannot become Krishna. He is still Arjuna, Krishna is still Krishna. So even if soul gets all the knowledge, it gets complete knowledge and all those things, it will not get merged into Brahman. It will go back to God and serve there. The mode it desires for. In Dasi Bhav, in Sakhi Bhav, in parental, क्या कहते हैं? हाँ, मतलब any mode it desires for. Like that's how we can understand this. This works. Right. We'll take one more last. Any questions? No? ठीक है. अच्छेद्यो अयम अच्छेद्यो अयम दाह्यो अयम अयम क्लेद्यो असोस्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुर् चलोयम सनातनः अचलो फिर से अच्छेद्योयम अधा अदह्योयम अक्लेद्यो शोषण एव च नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुर् अचलो अयम सनातनः. The translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can neither be burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. A lot of these adjectives we heard in previous verses also. Like it's eternal, it's not unmutable, but it does not change life, it is undividable, right? All pervading. We all saw these all verses again. Then why again Krishna is saying that? So this is because he's connecting with the previous verse. So in previous verse we had Nanam Chiddanti Sastrani. Right? It cannot be cut into the pieces. Achedya, unbreakable. Right. Then Nanam Dahati Pavaka. It came there. And here the word is used for Adahya. It cannot be burned. So here the exact word for those meanings are used. There it was told कि it cannot be killed. What is that? Achedya. मतलब what is the quality? Achedya. Nanam dahati pavaka adahya. Unable to be burned. Na chainam kledayam tapo. Ake, akledyam. Right. Insoluble. And na susayati maruta. Associate. Not able to be tracked. So all these properties, characteristic is mentioned here. Right. So now, some important point here is individual soul is eternally the atomic particle or the spirit atomic particle of the spirit whole. Right? It's eternally spirit whole. It's always atomic because its size does not get changed and it will always be remain of the same size without change. Now the theory of monism, where it says like Jiva and Ishvara is same, right? When the theory says that, it is difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. Means it says that akledya, insoluble. If it is insoluble, how can it merge into someone? Like oil and water. Oil is not soluble into water. Can you say that oil and water became one? Never, right? Even when the oil leakage happen in the oceans after any accident of a tankers and all, it can be removed from the top. It goes on the top and it actually gets removed. It takes a lot of effort, but it is done because it does not get solved into that. So even the quality is same, but because soul cannot, it is insoluble, so it does not get merged into Brahman. Right? That's how it is explained by acharyas. Right? The monism theory is very difficult to explain. It will not get merged because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as an individual spark of the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right. So we'll discuss that later. So in the first line, achedyo, adahyo, akledyo, asosyo. Right, these are mentioned. Like Nanam Chindati Sastradi, like this. Unbreakable, unable to be burned, insoluble, and unable to be drank. In the next four line, another other qualities of the soul is mentioned. Nitya, Sarvagata, Sarv Stharud, Achalam, and Sanatana. Right. So we'll discuss that. Nitya Sanatana means Nitya eternal. It is always there. It will always be there. It is eternal. Sthanul unchangeable, fixed in form. Its form does not change. Right. Achalo, it's immovable. When it say immovable means it is fixed into quality. Its quality does not change. जैसे हमारी चेंज होती रहती because we are matter in that way. Right. Not the soul, but हमारे शरीर की quality. And then सर्वगता, all pervading. So these are the qualities of the soul. These are the qualities of soul which is mentioned in this particular sloka. Right. We have already discussed all those points that it is eternal. It does not change the form. Always remains the same. Right. Because it does not need anything to maintain itself. Also, it is achal, like the quality Satchit Anand that is fixed. Right. And Sarvagata, it is all pervading, like the sun. Sun is pervading to all the places. Hmm.
Now, how does the soul merges into Brahman? The question comes, how does the soul merges into Brahman? It does not, right? That's a trick question. Good that people are awake. It does not get merged into Brahman, right? Because it's insoluble. Now, there in this purport, one very important thing is after liberation, the material contamination, atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark of the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the intelligent souls enter into spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. Right. What does that mean? The first line, it may prefer as a spiritual spark and be there. Right. Like किसी को कहीं पे छोड़ दिया गया बस यही मैं पढ़ा रहूंगा because I don't need anything to eat, I don't need anything to do, बस मैं ऐसे ही पढ़ा रहूंगा. I'll just remain as is. जैसे what do you see here? So there is a white thing. So there's a white place, there's a white space, the effulgent of the Lord, भगवान की जो शक्ति है, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं, ब्रह्म ज्योति, exactly. ब्रह्म ज्योति है, and I am also as a particle, I remain there as is, as a ब्रह्म ज्योति का एक particle की तरह, right? So it will become like this, nothing to do, nothing to feel, nothing to eat, कुछ भी नहीं करना है, just I'll remain. Think what a life that would be. How boring. Like we discussed that example. If someone puts you in a room for 4 hours, all white room, you will not feel hunger, right? All you have to do is just sit there. You have nothing to do for 4 hours, for 4 days, and for eternity. How would you feel? Like you'll actually get mad, right? If you are going to some place like that. So that's how when some people actually desire to get merged into Brahmajyoti. When they say merge, they don't actually get merged. It's like they go into Brahmajyoti, they remain like that. Hmm. So that's how it would be, like a white space. On the other, the intelligent souls enter into spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. How can they associate? By all those rasa, like in a Bhav or Shantaras, Sankhyaras, ठीक है, Madhurya ras, like a gopis, or like Yashoda Vidasya ras, like a Hanumanji, or Vatsalya ras, like Yashoda Maria, like friends. Right? So they can decide what they want and how they want to associate and what that life would be. So it's this life versus that life. We have to think what life we want for ourselves. Like think of a big family where everyone is so happy with each other. There is no fight at all, and everyone prepares food together, eats together, enjoys together, play together. No problem of earning money or job or anything. Right? Who wouldn't want to go to such place? That is the place which is like Guru Vrindavan. Right? We'll just serving God. God is happy. He's serving us. We're serving God. We both serve each other. We enjoy life, and every day the happiness increases multifold. Why wouldn't we aspire for such life? Why are we suffering here? That is something for us to think. Right. So, next important point comes Sarvagata, all pervading. Right. So we discussed that point Sarvagata. So it has two meanings. One meaning is we discussed when we were discussing about soul, that the soul, even though it's a very atomic particle, it's a very minute inside and lives in the heart, it is still spreads all over the body through its through its consciousness. Right. If there is no soul, there is no consciousness. The body, chemical, everything remains as is. Right. You can have everything in your body, all the vitamins, elements, everything will remain. The moment soul leaves, this body becomes useless because consciousness comes from the soul. Soul goes, consciousness goes. And that's how the soul controls all over the body through its consciousness. The one way to understand all pervading is this. Right. Another way to understand this is any kind of body soul can accept as per its karma. When it says all pervading means all the jivas the soul can be. in one life or another. Right. That's how it pervades every single sphere of life. Right. कुछ ज़्यादा complicated हो गया मतलब soul can be anything, it can be insect, it can be bacteria, it can be amoeba, euglena, or it can be elephant or dinosaur, it can be anything. When it was, right, maybe after a few years, maybe we were not here, you might be here and you'll see some people made Jurassic Park. अभी था ना Jurassic World. Some people will make Jurassic World and you will go and with your children visit that place. Who knows, dinosaur comes back. Right. So one meaning to understand all pervading is like soul can accept any type of body. Another meaning to understand is a soul can live anywhere. Soul can everywhere there is a soul. Now this point is something which is very contentious or something confusing. Can a soul live in the sun? What do you think? Can a soul live in the sun? How? But we know nothing survives in the high temperature. Forget about sun has millions of temperature in the core.
That like something.
Soul cannot be destroyed with anything fire also. So
Because of not so it cannot be burned by fire. We just discussed, right? Nano gravity power thing. So it can actually remain in the sun planet. But then why don't you see this?
it is
It's a different form. So our body is made of all the jiva, whatever the living, our body and all jiva's body are made of mainly with the earth and water. Right. The Panch Mahabhut is there, right? So our body is mainly made of this earth and water. That's why we say like 80% or 75% of our body is water and 25% is other matter. Right. The other matter is nothing but the earthly matter, the elements. When you go to the sun planet, actually the bodies there are made of fire. And we are not, even if you see the fire, if some fire body is there, we will not be able to see that. Right? We are not, our material eyes cannot see that. And that's why we cannot understand. And because their body is made of fire, fire is not going to get killed by fire. So their bodies are not, they have the bodies there, but we cannot understand, we cannot see. So this all pervading also means any type of environment, right? The soul is there. Wherever you see, even you see there is a vacuum in space, there would be the soul. And we can also understand practically as well. We may not be able to survive in 60, 70 degrees of temperature, right? But then there are bacteria who survive even 122 degrees, the acidophilus bacteria, extremophiles. They survive in 122 degree, 130 degree also, right? In volcano also you will find some bacteria, the cyanobacteria. So there are species who actually live in extremely hot condition or extremely acidic condition, the acidophiles. Right. So if the body which are made of this matter can survive these extreme, when the body is made of those elements, they can obviously survive in the extreme temperature. Right. So when we talk about Suryalok, when we call it Suryalok, a lok means where log lives. Log means people. Right. So there are actually people in the Suryalok also. Right. There is a presiding deity, the sun god, and he presides over a lot of his praja. Then are the inhabitants of the sun kingdom. The sun loka also and any, not only sun. I gave example of sun because that is an extreme, but yes, for anything, for any loka, every place there is a soul, and appropriate body is what is important here. If they have the appropriate body, they can, like according to the place, they will have the appropriate body to survive. Right. So yeah, that's all. Any question? So what is the takeaway from this session? Any one takeaway? Make Krishna as center of your activities.
think that's an
The perfect time to get back from the hurry book. Because stop worrying about what people say. Like if you want to take one takeaway, understanding of soul is most important. If I am soul, then the purpose of human life is to understand what is my relationship with God. Why I have gotten this human body. Because everyone survive, all the jivas survive. कुत्ते बिल्ली भैंस हमसे अच्छे तरीके से जीते हैं. Right. हम ज्यादा परेशान हैं. They are not anxious. They are like enjoying life. कोई ना कोई आएगा ठीक है जिनके घास मिल जाएगी खाएंगे पिएंगे मस्त रहेंगे. ठीक. ना जॉब की टेंशन ना बच्चों की टेंशन ना बीवी की टेंशन. ठीक. मस्त लाइफ तो उनकी ही है. Then why have we gotten this human life, this intelligence? Only because so that we can understand that we are soul and what is our relationship with God. And how can I go back to that relationship? Right. So stop thinking about what other people say. You think about your soul and God. Right. That will make your life anxiety free. So that is the answer of your question. How can we become less anxious about the work and all those things? Start thinking. We all have to start thinking on soul's point of view, from soul's perspective, to become anxiety free. Once we, it's a long process, but when we reach it, there is nothing which can stop us. So any other question? One second, Tarabhasya Kripasya Kripasya Pataka, Paudivya Vastavika, Pudivya Vastavika, Kisa Sin Kulpa, Kisa, as I know the place, Mantri, Sri, Krishna.